Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has brought us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing a rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
We are here today because we want to make sure that no matter who you are, no matter what you have, if we don't stand together, we will all fall and fail.
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
No justice, no peace. 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 No justice, no peace.
No peace!
We're here today to take a stand for justice and equality. You're here to say that this nation is moving on a wrong track.
Yes.
You're here today to say that we're not going backward. We're not going backward to division. We're not going backward to white supremacy. We're not going back to anti-democratic forces. We're not going back to a war on women. We're not going back to a war on immigrants. We're not going back to a war on Muslims. We're here to say we will not go backward. We want to go forward. Forward to a beloved community. Forward to a community where everyone receives justice. Forward to a community where everyone receives equality. Forward to a community where everyone is a brother and sister. Forward to a community that believes that the 1% should not own all the wealth of our nation. We want to go forward.
Yes.
I want you to repeat after me. Forward.
Forward!
Not backward.
Not backward!
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 I'm so happy to see so many young millennials that engage in the movement. I've been in the movement 50 years, marching with Martin Luther King at the age of 13. And it's just a blessing to see such a young man, Dylan Palmer from Grant High School.
My mom always tells me that an important part of life is knowing your why. Each person's why is their passion and their intent for their what. Today, we share a common what, which is marching. Our group, Y, is labeled as justice and equality, but we each have individual perspective and experiences that drive our why. I am here today because I grew up idolizing the heroes of the civil rights movement. The most notable champion of this movement was Martin Luther King Jr. And today we march like he did. Today we meet upon his statue in a march, and we march upon his eponymous boulevard. Today, when I look into this crowd, I see him. Over the past couple of years, I've heard people condemn marchers and protesters and rioters by saying things like, Martin Luther King Jr. wouldn't approve of this, or Martin Luther King Jr. protested without being disruptive or disrespectful or without blocking traffic. When I hear these things, I can't help but laugh like you all just did, because these were the very things that MLK stood for. He said that I think that we've got to see that a riot is a language of the unheard.
Yes.
And what is it that America has failed to hear? We have a president that does not support the people. The unheard of this nation are growing restless. They are taking to the streets, marching, rallying, and protesting like we are today, and this must continue because our lives and our voices matter. Changing topics a little bit, there was some news yesterday surrounding Emmett Till. It turns out that the woman who accused Emmett of flirting with her, resulting in his death, had lied. She made up the story, she just admitted it. So yesterday, for the first time in a while, I was thinking about Emmett Till, and I realized I couldn't help but draw comparisons to the modern day. I thought of Trayvon Martin. I thought of Tamir Rice. I thought of a recently released police dash cam video of a white woman on the phone with police admitting she racially profiled a black kid she called the cops on, assuming he was driving a stolen car. Meanwhile, the police are brutally beating this black college student for stealing a car they later found out was, in fact, his car. My reason for bringing this up is not to be negative, but to bring everyone back to my why. I'm here today because I think the messages of MLK Jr. ring just as true today as they did when he first spoke them. I'm here today because I believe those messages cannot be considered relics of the past, but instead pioneering doctrines of our movements today. I'm here today because Martin would have wanted us here, and I'm here today because I want to empower myself and stand in solidarity with all of you. Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote that hating is easy. It's loving that's hard. Today, let's challenge ourselves to love. Let's continue to push towards justice and equity and then equality. Let's do as my mom often says, and replace judgment with curiosity. It is an honor to march with you all today, and I thank the organizers and all of those who have dedicated their lives to social justice and all of those who will come after. I want to remind everyone to never underestimate the power of youth. Expect us. Thank you.
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
It's great to see you all here, but it's another march, another rally. How many more do we have to do, huh? You're right, because there's work to be done. It doesn't end, and I don't know about you, but sometimes the load seems overwhelming. Sometimes I just want to hide my head in the sand, but we can't do that. We can't do that, and surely I don't want to compare ourselves to the old Jim Crow era, because the civil rights movement did happen, and there were things that happened that were good. There was some improvement. But you know about the new Jim Crow. I know you've heard all about that. School to prison pipeline, mass incarcerations, some incremental movements, but there are just too many black and brown men and women behind bars. Too much injustice in our justice system, right? And now with the Black Lives Matter movement, thank you very much, thank you. And with the nation is slowly waking up to the problems, to the killings of black and brown unarmed men and women. We've been working for years with the AMA and then AMA Coalition, but police reform is happening here in Portland, slowly. We can't stop. And then we got President Obama to support DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, to bring dreamers out of the shadows. And now the threats are to remove that, to take away the welcome mat. Mass deportations did happen under Obama, don't get me wrong, but it's worse now. The new president of the United States of America promises to threaten to take us back to the times of registration and imprisoning aliens of U.S. residents and citizens because they are of different ethnic ID. What do we say about that? No way. The president and his potential cabinet threatened to throw public education under the bus. What do you say about that? No. He threatens to build walls in an era of global connections, dismantle women's reproductive rights and right not to be victimized by sexual harassment or domestic violence. What do you say to that? No. Yeah, hell no, I agree. He threatens to arm everybody so we'll be safe. What do you say to that? No. Threatens to allow the Wall Street types he railed against, mind you. He said no to them, and now he's hiring them left and right to make the policies for our country, dismantle regulations, and let the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. He's threatening to dismantle protections of our Mother Earth, rape our sacred grounds, including Standing Rock and everywhere else he can find, I'm sure. What do you say to all that? No! He's making sure that affirmative action is dead and buried. Long past the memorial service for that. He's continued to objectify and subjugate African Americans along with others. He's whitewashing our government. He's withdrawing the welcome mat from the huddled masses yearning to be free. What do you say to that? No! I can't help but invoke or remember that old civil rights song, we shall not be moved.
Oh, we shall not be moved. Oh, we shall not be moved. Oh, just like a tree, oh, planted by the water. Oh, we shall not be. Oh, we shall not be. We shall not be moved. Hey, we shall not be. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water. Oh, we shall not be. Oh, we shall not be. We shall not be moved. Hey, we shall not be. We shall not be moved. Just like a tree planted by the water. We shall not be moved.
We are here specifically to protest the appointment of Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Because we understand that the Attorney General is the top cop, the vendor of justice, the overseer of all policing in this country. And we know and understand that the issue between citizens and police is a tenuous issue, particularly those of color, specifically blacks. We have a very big problem, have had for a long time. And there's been a lot of work done by many people that are on this podium today, many organizations, and many of you. But that stands the chance of being rolled back, because now America is about to be free, white, and 21 again. It's about to be rolled back to a time and under the jurisdiction of those who have a different idea of what freedom and liberty looks like for refugees, even though this is a country full of refugees, for the Mexican community, convenient labor yesterday, problem today, and for Muslims who are a part of the fabric of this country and the fabric of this world. We have Jeff Sessions about to oversee how the justice system will interact with all of us. You know, I'd like to just, in short, give a parable, and perhaps you'll understand where I'm coming from. Visualize, if you will, for me, a busload of us going down a road. Let's say that road is in a small county in rural Alabama, where Jeff Sessions is presently occupying space. Moving down that road in Alabama, everyone on that bus, let's call it the Freedom Bus. Everyone on that bus has gotten comfortable riding along with a few people driving, and the rest of us kind of just dozing off and sleeping. And all of a sudden, we get to the intersection of Highway 2016, and the bus runs off the road.
What do we want?
Justice!
Thank you so much for being here today. Today I want to talk about our immigrant communities who are being attacked by Mr. Trump. I can't. Building a border, it's just spending money that we can use to build schools. To construct a better nation. Building a border is attacking our immigrants, saying you are not welcome here, but at the same time, they're using us. Mr. Trump has to understand that we are not merchandise to deal with. Mr. Trump is attacking the immigrants who are seeking political asylum, including myself. I'm on deportation proceeding right now. And Mr. Trump and his new administration orders, it's just destroying the economy of this country. It's just dividing our communities. Muslims, Latinos, we all the same human beings, and we born with rights. And we must stand together for rights. Every authority in the country, police, immigration, border patrols, should stand with us and say, Mr. Trump, we are not obeyed your administrator orders. We stand with our community. That's what everybody should be doing.
Yes, sir.
Remember, we are a country of immigrants. Immigrants, we must get together and protect each other.
Yes, sir.
Let's love each other like God has said.
Yes, sir.
We are brothers, sisters.
Yeah.
And we must learn how to live and support each other.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We shall not be moved no matter who is in the Department of Justice in demanding our new mayor and our police chief go forward on police reform in this city.
All right.
So Black Lives and Brown Lives Matter.
Yes.
We shall not be moved in saying Francisco Aguire and all those who are here as immigrants deserve the right to stay here and need their visas. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved in saying that we are thankful for our Native American sisters and brothers who have been here for thousands of years and welcomed us. For our sisters and brothers whose ancestors came on slave ships and built this nation. We shall not be moved in standing by immigrants, however they got here from other lands. I want to say quickly, as a faith leader with all my colleagues up here in the Albina Ministerial Alliance and of other traditions, that I am ashamed And I call shame on you, Mr. Trump, and your administration. I say shame on you, for your actions are atrocious. Your actions of executive orders are putting fear and terror into the lives of far too many in this nation and world.
Yes.
Your actions are unpatriotic, and they are morally corrupt.
They are.
Morally corrupt.
Yes.
And so I want to say, not only shall we not be moved, but like Dr. King said, we are on the move. We are on the move to say every life in this world matters, not just this nation. That black lives and brown lives matter in this city and this land. We are on the move to say Muslim, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, Native American spiritual leaders, Sikh, Christian, people of goodwill and other traditions are rising up with a soul force of love like they are no match for. Mr. Trump, you are no match for us on the move. We have a force of love combined with justice, and the walls will come tumbling down. The walls of bigotry and hatred, the walls of fear and discrimination, they will come tumbling down. For we walk with faith, not fear. We walk with hope, not despair. We walk with love, and only love, as Dr. King reminded us, can overcome hate.
I'm Rabbi David Kosak of Congregation Neveh Shalom, and it is my pleasure to be here with you today on my Shabbat, when a Jew of faith normally does not travel because community is so important. But one travels to save a life, and we are at a time when lives are at risk. It was during the middle of World War II when a boat commissioned by the poor Jews of Europe fleeing from Nazi Germany, the Alta Vista, came to the gates of America, fleeing from tyranny, seeking freedom, and discovered that the gates were locked. And this past week, when the gates were once again locked, it was clear to me that the hour is here, and that we must do everything we can with every form of key, with every crowbar of peace and love to pry those gates open. And no matter how rusted those hinges are, and no matter how the forces that would close them, we will open the gates of freedom and keep them, and let the huddled masses yearning to be free be here in freedom and solidarity with us all. God bless.
My name is Nick Kahl, and I'm an Arab American. So I just want to share with you a story. 2 nights ago, I got a call from my sister, and she said, "Hey, does Dad have papers?" And it took me back to a time right after 9/11 when I was sitting at my grandmother's house, a little Syrian woman. We were talking politics, and the talk got to George Bush, and we said some things, and she shushed us. She said, "You don't know who's listening. People in my community are afraid, and they've been afraid for a long time. This didn't start with Donald Trump. People in my community come from places where you don't speak, you don't talk, you don't act out, and if you dare to stand up, there will be grave consequences." This is where we're living right now. This is where a lot of us live. And so, as you're doing action, I'd like you to think about, there are a lot of Arab Americans in this city. You know them. They're your neighbors, they're your friends. You need to reach out to them. You need to tell them that it's a safe place for them, that they're part of a community. They need to feel that they're part of a community. There's so many of us here today, but there aren't a lot of people who look like me, who look like Wejdi, people from that part of the world, because those people are sitting at home right now afraid of the consequences of exercising their rights. I appreciate the fact that you're standing up for them, and I just ask that you do more. Thank you.
Well, the one thing we did right was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. But the one thing we did wrong, stayed out in the wilderness a little too long. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep
the prize, hold on. We face jail and violence too, but we know the Lord will see us through. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. We march for justice and for peace until the day our marches cease. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Oh, keep your eyes on the prize, hold on. Keep